mentioned at the top, now you can basically create whatever report it is that you want to create. If there's a certain set of metrics or a certain set of dimensions that is really important to you or really valuable to you or is really something that you're just interested in, you don't have to depend on what Google Analytics automatically has created for you. It has over 100 reports already, but a lot of times, as most of you know, there are some things that you wish you just could make on your own. So this is the way you can do it. You can create your own custom report. I'm going to show you how to make one, and I'm going to show you the example of the one that I created for this presentation. So all you got to do is just click on that custom reporting link that's on the lower or the middle left of any one of your Google Analytics accounts. When you do click on that button, you'll be taken to a page that looks pretty much like this. It just gives you the overview of the custom reporting. It even offers you a couple of examples with that See Report link in the middle of the page. Actually, I do recommend clicking on that after today's presentation. You get different ideas of some of the reports that have already been created by a few people at Google Analytics. But to create your own, simply click on the Create New Custom Report link, and you'll be taken to the report creation interface. And here is that interface. Now, this is very up to date as far as technology is concerned. It uses Flash and Ajax, so it's very interactive. What you can do, you can select either a metric from the left, so any of the site usage, content goals, e-commerce, or advertising metrics from that blue section. By clicking on any one of those 6 options, the menus will sort of expand, and you'll see all of the available metrics. You'll see this very well on the next slide. And you can also select any of the available dimensions in Google Analytics: visitors, traffic sources, content, some e-commerce dimensions, and some systems like browsers and operating systems and things like that. So what you can do with any of those, you can drag and drop them into the respective areas on basically the interface on the right-hand side. So any metrics in the blue area, you can do up to 10 metrics going across the top of the report window. Simply drag and drop them in there, and there will be there for you. And then with the dimensions, you can do the same thing. So most reports in Google Analytics will start out with one basic dimension that it's viewing by. So for example, if I wanted to use traffic sources and source as my dimension, so Google, Yahoo, MSN, I would simply select that, drag it over to the right-hand side, and there would be that would be what the report would be mainly focusing on. But notice below where it says dimension in the middle of the screen, there are these arrows and it says subdimension. This is great to sort of add on to this particular report. So what will happen is, let's say that you choose the main dimension as source. Whenever somebody clicks on a source, so if somebody clicks on Google or Yahoo or MSN, you can define what the next thing that they'll see will be. So let's say somebody clicks on Google and you want the next dimension to be keywords. You would simply grab or find the keywords from the traffic sources area and then drag and drop that right into the subdimension, one of those first subdimension areas, and then that's what would happen in your report. So notice here, this is something that I've created just for this particular presentation, just to give you an example of what a custom report can look like. So notice here, I've dragged and dropped about 8 or 9 metrics into my top area: new visits, average time on site, bounce rate, so on and so forth. And then below that, I have a couple of different dimensions that I also dragged and dropped. So in this situation, I dragged and dropped source and medium. So that would show me Google CPC, Google Organic, Direct None. And then, just like I was explaining before, below that, the segments that that a person would see once they would click on one of the sources medium combinations would be keywords. And you can keep going on and on and on all the way down the page if you want to. I think you can have up to 5 maximum, 5 different subdimensions in one particular report. Notice towards the very top of the page how it says Executive Meeting Report. So that's a name that I basically made up. You can call your report anything you like. You can name it whatever you want to. It's actually very important that you do name it something very specific, very particular. It's just in the event if you have a lot of people that have access to your particular Google Analytics profile or account, and they're in there quite frequently, and they want to use custom reporting, this would be a great way to identify or individualize this particular report. Notice below the trending graph, I have 2 different tabs. So you can also create and rename tabs to your liking as well. So in this particular instance, this is my overview tab as I named it, and this is all the information from that particular tab. But you can also create multiple tabs. So I did that here. Right next to Overview, I have my sales and leads. So that would have any e-commerce or goal conversion information. So you can create as many tabs as you want. You can have different metrics, different dimensions. You can basically Frankenstein and create basically your own invention. And of course, you can save this and always have access to it at any time. One thing that I'd like to point out or note for you, notice on the left-hand side in the metrics section, I moused over the word bounce rate or that question mark symbol. Each question mark symbol is going to have the definition of each individual metric or dimension. And I point this out because with custom reporting and also with advanced segmentation, you're going to start to see a lot of metrics and a lot of terms that you have not seen before in Google Analytics. Some of these terms were behind-the-scenes calculations that Google Analytics use to create some of the reports or to come up with some of the reports. So things like time on page, some AdSense metrics you'll start to see, ad slot position, and there's many more. So if you're not familiar with them or if they don't make sense to you, just like the About Us report help section in the beginning of the presentation that I talked about, click on one of those question mark symbols, and it'll clearly define or try to clearly define what each metric means. So this is the end result. This is my custom report. This is it in action. This is all of my metrics are here. All of my sources and mediums appeared below that. Notice on the top left-hand side where I originally clicked on custom reporting to create this report, now I have my executive meeting report listed there. And again, you can always have access to that, and that's where they'll be saved until you delete them or edit them. And of course, you can edit this report at any time. So if you're not happy with the way it turned out, feel free to go back and change some things, rearrange some metrics, maybe change the dimension out, create a new tab, basically whatever you'd like to. And again, this is really, really good for meeting your own individual needs. We all have individual needs when it comes to reporting. A lot of times, what Google Analytics gives us is great, but sometimes maybe one or two things are missing, or sometimes we have a particular question that we need answered, and creating your custom report may definitely help you out in that regard. One more thing to note about custom reporting before we move on to advanced segmentation. The first metric listed on the left, new visits, that's what will be represented in the sort of the sentence that comes above this report. So where it says this custom dimension resulted in that many new visits, that'll be what we'll say in that particular sentence, whatever that first metric is below. So if you want to have that changed, simply flip-flop whatever metric or swap them out, whatever metric you want to appear in that first area, and that's what